Perfect, perfect, perfect,
Right, so the plan, why am I using my hands? So the plan for today is to actually clean the front of the engine bay. Not clean it as in actually clean it, but get rid of all of the crap. So we'll get rid of the wiring looms that are spare that I've got sat around. We'll put the crash bar in the garden so it's out of the way. Clean up the floor. Get rid of all the crap that's on the scuttle that's not needed. But I want to do that purely because I think we're going to have a little attempt to test fit the engine today. I want to test fit the engine because I need to know how long I need to extend the wiring loom by, where things need to run to, what's need to be extended, what's not needed. Because obviously I'm using a diesel loom, or my original Jetta loom, which was a 1.6 TDI, and obviously I'm trying to use my loom to work with a 2 litre petrol. So I don't know what's needed and what isn't. No one's done it, so just trial and error really. But yeah, I want to know how long and how far I need to extend all the wiring looms. Did have a little attempt at one the other day. I've extended it quite far. I've used some of the TFSI, the donor car. I used some of the wiring loom from that because what I'm trying to do, rather than going to buy loads of cable and all different sizes and stuff like that, I'm actually going to try and use some of the donor car loom so I can use the exact same colours, keeping it OEM just to be fancy. It doesn't need to be fancy, but yeah, I want to try and use that, but I need to get the engine in so I can work out how far and how much I need to extend the wiring loom, and then I can also work out what is and isn't needed. Whether we could do that today, as long as I can get the engine in, shouldn't take too long really. We just need to have a clean up first, so we'll crack on with the clean up and then we will come back once this is all clean. Okay, so the GoPro decided to not record any of that, which is fantastic, so I do apologise. But engine crane, engine's in. Lots of jiggling around and pain in the backside, but there is clearance everywhere, which is good, and it fits using the original Jetta mount that side, and I'm using the TFSI mount this side because the diesel one for my car obviously only has 2 bolts, whereas this one takes 3, so I've used that, which is good. I guess now that we've got the engine in, we can actually start with the extending of the loom, which is quite handy actually. I didn't want to extend the loom fully until we had the engine in, purely based on the fact that with the wiring loom I could extend it for ages and it'd be far too long, so there's no point me overdoing it. At least this way it gives me that chance to know where they need to go, and work out if this loom will even work. I'm assuming it will. I don't see why it shouldn't, but I guess we'll see really. This could all be a complete waste of time and we could be just completely trying to make all this shit work for the sake of it, but there's only one way to find out. Obviously need to make all new power lines for like the starter and the battery, all to the fuse box, purely because obviously the battery and the fuse box are all inside, so I need to make a new wire from the battery to the starter, which obviously I'll run somehow. I don't know how I'm going to run it yet, but we'll run it some way. I'm thinking sort of drill a hole up in the chassis arm and run all the cables in there just to make it a little bit cleaner. Not 100% sure yet, but we'll work that out. But at least the engine fits. That's the main thing. The engine fits. It doesn't foul on anything. There's nothing in the way, which is very handy. Obviously I'll be getting rid of these. I'll be sort of bunging them up, or just making like a U-pipe for them, just so it runs in and straight back out. Gonna have to change these, I think, because they bolt up differently, which is a little annoying, but it is what it is. I didn't really think that would make much of a difference, or they'd vary that much, but they have, so it's one of them things. Things happen and we adapt and overcome, so we'll work it out. But as I say, we've got a lot of wires to start extending now, and then we can slowly, once all the wires are extended, plug in everything we can, then maybe sort of go about seeing if it'll even start. If it doesn't, then we just sort of try and error from there. Obviously I am trying to do a lot of this on my own, because I don't really have anyone else that can sort of give us a hand all the time, which isn't a problem. That's the whole point of learning. But it would just be handy to have, if anyone is sort of like a FSI, TFSI, whatever sort of guru with wiring, please sort of drop me a message and let me know. It'll be very handy just to know what is right and what isn't right, even if someone can sort of sort me out some wiring diagrams and just learn from there. That'll probably be quite handy, but we're getting there. We are slowly making progress. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but that is what a project is all about. Sometimes it feels like you're not going anywhere, but we are making progress, which is very handy, but we'll get there, slowly but surely.
Warrior.
So we've extended some of the loom now, done headlight, we've done the fan for the radiator. We've also got the starter motor, one of the wires done. I need to remake the main power line for that. We have got one or two other bits done as well. I'm running it all in to the chassis leg, gonna sort of run it down here. I am going to stick like something over the top of this, just like this sort of stuff here. I'm going to stick that over the top of it just to keep it a little bit cleaner. Push it up, it all comes up here and then comes in through here. I've still got these to do, possibly. I've got to work out what's what still, and all of this lot here to extend. It's not doing too bad. Getting there. It's definitely coming along. It's definitely a lot cleaner.